Welcome to the Beauty Box Show. I'm your host, Milan J, and today we're actually going to pick up on part 2 of our interview with Mr. George Bell, who's a master barber licensed, a licensed master barber, because I'm used to say licensed cosmetologist, kind of rolls funny. We were having a wonderful conversation, and we kind of morphed into the salon suites, and we both have our reservations about that. You know, no shade to the suites, but as business owners in the industry, yes, we do have our reservations, and you like to hear it? Here it go. So, Mr. Bell, we were talking about in the last conversation about how you've had some barbers or booth renters that kind of came in your establishment and just kind of did their own thing. Besides the booth renters, we're talking about your employees and the ones who also did booth rent. They wanted to modify their schedule, but yet want you to modify your rent, restructuring it, and it was no longer kind of like in your control. So, you know, and that's how the conversation started about our opinion, well, my opinion about the suites and the owners of the suite. As you stated, you wanted to find out the people's why. Why would somebody who worked a regular corporate job all of a sudden now want to own a beauty salon or a barbershop? What's their why? And my take is those that do get into the industry sometimes, not having a passion behind it kind of dilutes the industry, because the mindset they're in it for a consistent paycheck or money, you know, or maybe they just, you know, like the world of that industry but really don't understand it, and create a different environment for what we work towards having as a culture, or, you know, cultivating the industry as to morph into something in the same line, if that makes sense.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know I started talking, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, I'm going and going and going.
No, I'm following.
Okay, so what's your take about the suites?
So, to piggyback off what you were saying as far as booth rent, so you have booth rent shops, and then you have commission shops, right? And when you really think about it, the booth renting shop, which is what I've always had, everybody's always functioning as their own independent business, right? So their chair, quote unquote, essentially becomes their business, right? And, you know, when it comes to even taxes and stuff like that, they're, you know, they pay a booth rent and they do their own thing, right? You have your rules of the shop that you know, want them to abide by, but some of them can set their own prices. They pretty much are running their own business. Their chair is their business, right?
Correct.
And once they get in that, once they get that in their mindset, and they start functioning like that, then you have the birth of the suites, right? Because, you know, when you have a 10-chair shop and you got 10 bosses all kind of functioning like, oh, I'm my own brand, I'm my own entity, I'm my own thing, you know, and they kind of want to do their own thing, and it starts going out of what you want, you know, and what, you know, dress code wise, or, you know, atmosphere wise, music wise, you know, they want to play their own music, they want to wear what they want to wear, you know.
Right.
So then, okay, here comes the suites. You have it your way, you know. You could go decorate your suite, do what you want to do. You know, you like the Dallas Cowboys, paint it blue and silver. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot of things. You can run your own brand the way you want. You can come up with your own LLC. You're on your own, you know what I mean?
Right.
You're on your own. So I think that, but that very much differs from a commission shop, right? Where a commission shop, it's a lot more, especially from an owner standpoint, it's a lot more, it's a lot more the owner has to do. I don't want to use the word control, but they have to do a lot more work.
It's real.
Okay,
Control. Use the word.
A lot more control.
It.
Okay, all right. Say what it is, right? That's a lot more control. It's a lot more hands-on. The owner has, you know, if you own a booth rent shop, you can literally just have it on cruise control. Come by and you just want your booth rent, right?
Right.
Commission, you gotta watch everything that happens, you know what I mean? Because everything is like an extension of you, you know. I mean, it is both ways, but even more so the commission, right? So what they have on, how they look, how they talk, you know.
Yeah, I'm commissioned. My situation is all commission based.
Oh, so you already know. If you commission, you already know.
I'm here with you.
Yeah, so you already know. So I used to give people this scenario, right? If you got a booth rent shop, and let's say your shop closed at 7 o'clock, right? Shop closed at 7 o'clock. That's the shop hours, right? 6:45, somebody comes through the door. 6:30, 6:45, they come through the door. 6:50. We'll make it 6:50. 6:50 is better. They got 10 minutes, right? And all your barbers who are booth renters, right, are looking, man, I'm about to get up out of here. I'm out of here, man. I'm you know, he's a walk-in, first time to the shop, right? In his mind, he's like, I got 10 minutes left, you know. I know I'm a little close to closing, but it's 10 minutes left, right?
Somebody gonna want me.
Somebody gonna get me, right? But you got a bunch of barbers and all of them, you know, ready to go. Man, I've been here all day. I ain't trying to, you know, they keep looking at their clock. Why did dude come at 6:50? You know, we all been there, right? And so nobody wants to serve this guy. Like everybody like, man, I already told wifey I'm on my way home, or I gotta go pick somebody up from the airport. I gotta go get my kids, right? So now you have a guy who's like, hey, sir, can you come back to, you know, the response becomes, hey, can you come back tomorrow? We open at 8, or nobody. So this guy doesn't get a haircut, right? And let's say he doesn't come back. So the shop, no barber made any money, right? But as a booth rent owner, you didn't lose any money because you're gonna still get your same booth rent from that, right? Right? So what happened in that scenario is, nobody wanted to get that extra $1, that's fine, still pay me on Friday or Saturday, right? On a commission shop, it's different, right? If the same scenario happens and it's a commission shop, you know, you're gonna look at one of your barbers like, hey, you need to get him. You know, I know he's a little late or whatever, but you need to get him because we ain't closed yet. You know what I mean? He's 6:45, 6:50, he's knock him out real quick. He ain't getting but a quick regular haircut or whatever, right? 15, right? And then the shop grows, right? And then, you know, so that guy was serviced and he's happy and there, you know, you didn't tell him to come back tomorrow. And then the shop grew. So the shop picked up another client. You see what I'm saying? And I like that. You know, I like that even though I haven't owned a commission shop, I've put barbers on commission before, right? And I've been on commission myself before, you know what I mean? So I like that way more than the booth rent, because the booth rent leads directly into these suites, and now we got suites all over the place, you know, because everybody's their own boss. Everybody wants to do their own thing. Everybody got their own movement.
Yeah, the suites is very saturated, especially in the area where we are. I mean, they're like across the street from each other, and you got 20, 30, 40 to 50 suites in one building. What I find that just from my industry, my lane as a cosmetologist, my specialty is hair repair, hair reconstruction.
Right.
So I do the repairing of all the damage that other people have caused. So not to say that, you know, it's coming from suites. It's coming from suites and other salons as well. But the suite, my biggest dilemma, as you were mentioning, is that you haven't had a commission-based barbershop. You have had some commission-based barbershop, and mainly everybody was independent contractors, set their own space and pace and all of that stuff. And because I am a commission base, I'm also a brand. So it's really controlled. Controlled on how you blow dry, controlled on how you shampoo, what products you use, how you gonna trim.
So I should have been using the word control.
That's why I agree with it's control. So I can have empathy and sympathy in the situation as far as the suites, because I once was a suite owner for just 1 year. There's reasons why I feel suites exist, right? There's reasons why I feel suites have benefits, and also I feel suites have did some damage, and it also has some negative impact. So it's a 50-50.
Tell me how you really feel.
This is just me, you know. And the thing about it is that, but also there's some great benefits, you know, because most graduates, what they like to do is they come out from school and their big picture is to own their own. You know, you get into the industry, I want to own my own space. A lot of them don't know really what it takes to own, but having access to a suite gives you that quick, fast get into, quote, your own business.
Correct.
You know, and a lot of them suite owners, because they're independent and they're able to decorate their space, they take ownership totally different than if they rent that booth in that open space. Even though they're doing whatever they're doing and setting the time that they're setting,
Right.
being able to personalize that room brings on a different type of ownership.
Correct.
Close the doors when they choose to. No other person is near them. Nobody's telling them what they can. Only the boss that has a manager that's running the suite, that's relaying the message, who they never may ever see the owner, but that person sets a basic outline of the policy and the requirements, right? So it's less to deal with in the suites. So I get it. I personally went into a suite for the mere fact that I wanted to get away from my business partner who worked my everlasting nerve. I just needed to close myself, but I still needed to do what I know what I do. So I did it for isolation purposes.
Okay, right.
So that was one of the biggest benefit for me, but that's one of the biggest downfall I feel in suites.
Right.
If I say suites being needing to have the existence, I feel that there should be certain requirements for you to own a suite. I feel you should be in the industry for some time. I also feel that you should have maybe some other requirements, far as maybe certifications or even a letter of recommendations.
Oh, I love it.
All of that stuff to say, hey, I'm qualified to be closed in this private room because I'm seasoned enough to run my own business. And I'm going to take care of this client because I am willing to do the advanced education and all of these wonderful things. This is just my process because it's too easy to get in, and there's a lot of damage that goes on behind doors because of lack of information, lack of knowledge, and not advancing themselves, and you taking services and just degrading them.
Right.
And there's no next door stylist to you that's exposed that you can see what she's doing. The camaraderie is not there.
Absolutely not. No.
That's my downfall of the suites. And that's how I think suites should be available to if you meet these requirements and have certain times in the industry, because you earn yourself a space. That's just my take.
That's an interesting take.
Oh my, we done missed our commercial break. I want Mr. Bell to really go into his take. Give us a minute and we'll be back with you.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Welcome back to the Beauty Box Show. I'm your host, Milan J, and we're coming back from our break. So we left off with my opinion, why I felt that the suites diluted the industry some, and how I felt you should get a suite. So Mr. Bell is going to share with me his take on why, or what he feels about the salon suites.
I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as saying it diluted But what I will say is to kind of piggyback off what you were saying as far as barbers or stylists getting suites too early, right? Because there's a lot to be learned around other barbers, other stylists, other that camaraderie, right? I just remember I picked up so much, right? Just being around seasoned barbers, right? And then at that point, you know, maybe you could go do a suite. So that would be interesting if you had to have a certain amount of criteria or a certain amount of years in the game before you could get a suite, because some of the barbers that I've seen, stylist barbers that are getting suites, have only been licensed for a year, right? And that, you know, maybe they've done a lot of clients before they had their license, right? But some of the shortcuts or some of the other things that other people know, some of the veterans can teach you. Once you go into a suite, you don't have that, right? So you generally don't have anybody to your right or your left that can you can consult with or ask questions or stuff like that. You know what I mean? You got to really know. And I think, but I think on the flip side of that is people typically, they're not dealing with walk-ins, so they're dealing with clients that they're already familiar with, right?
Right.
So then they feel like, well, you know, I know my clientele, I know, you know, and if they start growing new clientele, which is hair, that they're maybe not familiar with, that could be an area of concern, because now you're getting into new clients and you probably, you know, anything could walk through the door. But I think subconsciously they're kind of just like, I'm just gonna deal with my people and my folks, and I need my own place, and you know, they get to a certain point where they feel like they've outgrown the shop or outgrown their living room, and if they get some new people, they do, but they kind of base it off of what they are doing. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. There is a category of those folks, and then you also got the category of the ones who just can't afford to be on commission. And reason being is like they might see their gross pay and they're like, oh, I can take this and get a suite.
Right.
And if I get a suite, I'm pocketing this money, but not understanding that this comes with the owner's establishment, marketing, reputation, whatever it takes that other people will seek this business for. Now, when they go in there, there's that growth that they'll learn hard way. And the other thing about it is that most of these suites now, you can't walk in and solicitate. So you have to market. You got to be on your game with marketing. You also got to be prepared to get all your finances together. If you're now independent, so a lot of them don't even know how to do their books. You know, so, and the good thing we have the Vagaro systems and all of those salon systems that they're able to book and keep a record that makes it a little easier than before. But there are a lot of things that I come across with some of the young ladies that ask to, you know, come into my establishment as an employee, saying that, you know, they had their suites and they couldn't afford it anymore, and they just want to regroup. It just became tough. And personally, I will not hire someone who came from a suite, because as I stated, I'm a brand, very controlled. So me investing into someone and feeding them a group of clients, for me to know that once they get themselves at that space and mentally plateau in an area where they feel at peace, they're going to walk away, and that's an investment for me. Now, you know, I'm supportive of growth, but I'm also wise as why I'm in business, what I'm doing.
Right.
You know, so it's about growing my team to grow within my company, not grow my team to feed them and go somewhere else.
Right.
You know, so it's about what can I make this place a happy place for you, and that way you would want to be here. And you know, if they leave, they leave. There's no love lost, but bringing you in, I've learned. So years ago, I would have hired somebody who came from a suite. Going forward, no, I would not. As a brand, I would not.
Okay.
You know, so that's, like I said, it's no shade to them, but I understand and what I hear and, you know, just the feedback from clients and previous suite owners and people who are in the game and been in suites for some time. You know, those are some of the challenges that I have. I mean, we all have it, even business owners, you know.
Right.
But I do feel like some of the feedback that I've gotten from clients, they speak negatively about some of the experiences that they've had, whether they went to someone in a private suite, you know, or to someone's home. That's really kind of like the same. You know, for me, that person, for them to end up there, my question is why? Why did you go to them when this is your salon home? And the economy right now is forcing people to look for what's more affordable. And sometimes someone has a great marketing strategy on TikTok and things like that, and they want to go for a specific look, and they wind up getting a bad experience, and there's no one to be accountable for other than the person you saw. So you can't go to a boss. You know, say, your stylist messed my hair up. She is the boss.
Correct.
Or he, you know, so, but that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I agree, definitely agree.
Yeah, but you know, I feel like, but again, everybody's got to have their experience, you know. I just think that it should just be some type of guideline getting in, and I think it would be a happy place for everyone if you know, just put yourself in position to be the best at your art, not just kind of skip through things and figure it out on people. Because you're playing with people's hair, skin, you know.
You know, people don't play about their hair.
Not our sisters.
They don't play about their hair.
No. But overall, but you know, I know we've had our conversations about it back and forth. But you know, and the people who don't have anything in the industry or anything to do other than have this capital and they invested into a salon suite or barbershop, or you know, for them it is a lot about they see something that's pretty much recession proof, you know, and it's like a no-brainer. Like, hey, I'll get a barbershop and I'll just collect rent and just flat amount and shop open so many days, and my electric bill it's real simple for them. The emotional attachment is not to the art. It's just tied to keeping the doors open, and they won't even know if you need towel service. They don't understand what that is. You know.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's like you said. You know, the key thing is identifying what you want, and knowing if it's suite, salon, booth renting, or commission based is what you really need at that point in time. And then I think it will give most stylists and barbers a great opportunity to start off on a good foundation versus setting themselves back and then ruin their reputation.
Correct, yeah.
You know, because we don't have that camaraderie or mentor, you know, or experience in general.
Right.
Yeah, like I was talking to my makeup artist, and she was saying the same thing. She was like, a lot of estheticians who freshly get out of school will immediately go into starting on their own freelancing, but they never made it to the counter because they don't have the customer relationship skills.
Correct.
They don't have enough experience. They don't have enough to give advice as a professional. And I think it goes across the board. But we just had this conversation today about something she had came across from a previous client she serviced, who said, I went to this girl, she was advertised on TikTok, she didn't say a word to me, and she said, I felt awkward. And, you know, some people don't know how to have a conversation.
Oh, wow, no.
You know, so simple as that. You know, but like I said, being next to your partners and teammate, you learn a lot, and you just learn how one person conducts with another person, and you'll learn something just by observing. Right,
yeah, because one thing about this industry, we're much more customer service oriented than what we realize sometimes. You know?
Yeah,
I think we always tend to look at our skills and our abilities. You know, we're artists, right? We're artists. You know, we can create, but there's a whole another side to this, which is customer service. I remember this guy I used to cut with when I was young. This guy couldn't cut hair at all. I mean, he just was a terrible barber, but customer service extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I mean, his customer service, it was like Chick-fil-A, you know what I mean?
Yes.
He greeted you with a smile. He knew your name. He remembered your dog. He remembered your cat.
And he remembered your story.
He remembered what you know. And it was always, you know, he remembered what you did for a living. You know what I'm saying? He was always happy to see you. You know what I'm saying? Always happy to see you. Never. You know, never. If he didn't feel like coming to work, you wouldn't know it, right? You know what I'm saying? So he shows up with a smile. He shows up ready to do business every day. Super duper professional.
But
right?
he'd give you a bowl cut.
Oh, he couldn't cut a lick. You know what I mean? Couldn't cut a lick of hair. But you know, he worked it, and you know he stayed in the industry for a long time. He had still cutting, you know. He had a good run, still hanging in there, and always, you know. But that customer service goes a long way.
Customer service does go a long way. That's why it's so important. Like even they talked about the banks. When you walk into a bank, what they want to know is like it's nice to go to a bank that you're putting your money in, and that they turn around and say, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones," you know. You're like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" You know, and it does make you feel not like a number. There's a relationship established.
Yes.
You know, so that's the key thing. It's really taking the time that you're spending with someone who you allow in your personal space.
Oh, it's definitely.
That they're warm and inviting. And there are some people that don't want a whole lot of conversation. But, and I know we are getting close to the end of the show.
Okay.
So, you know, we can go on a little bit longer and on. But overall, I do believe customer service is key. Even if you are in a booth rent or a suite, whatever the case may be,
customer
you know, treat your client the way you want to be treated. And at the same time, just make sure you are at 100%, you know, and if you can give them 1,000, that'll be amazing.
Even better.
But always invest into yourself. Invest into your art, and this is just an owner's advice. You know, if you are going to be an owner, operate the way you would want your business to be run and recognized for a generation to come. So this is Milan J, and this is the Beauty Box Show, and I thank you guys for joining us today. Have a wonderful day.